Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Corner. We have a full house this time. And
Yay!
yeah, welcome back, everyone. Last weekend was Lou and I, and welcome back, Alicia and Paul.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're very welcome. And it's good
Thank
to
you.
see the Fantastic Four back here and talking about some magical content, if you will. So we've been going through every chapter. There's a little break there, but this powerful book called U Squared by Price Pritchard, and it really taps into your unseen greatness and your potential, unlimited potential. And this chapter, every chapter speaks to me. And we're going to dive in and share some value from each of us about what this really means with, to us, but also to help you see your unlimited potential through this as well, and to just inspire you and motivate you, but give you some direction as well. So my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach / business consultant, founder of Believe in the Unseen Consulting. I'm based in the Maryland area. I'm trained by Bob Proctor, the legend Bob Proctor. I always like to put that there because he's a legend in my heart, and I'm sure a lot of people agree as well. And also, my purpose is to just reveal the hidden potential that's already within you and guide you to your truest desires, whatever it is that you desire. And we're talking about the pursuit of that desire today. So I help hardworking but unfulfilled professionals, who know they're capable of more, yet they feel stuck in a cycle of effort, without progress, lacking clarity, direction, and the positive mental programming needed to create income, freedom, and the life they truly desire. So I'll pass it on to my awesome colleague, Alicia.
Yeah, thank you, Yemel. My name is Alicia Espinosa. Ah, again, we have some.
You sound fine on my end.
Yeah,
I can hear an echo.
it's good now.
It's good now.
Yeah. So what was I saying? I don't
Your,
remember.
your
Yeah,
name
my
is
name is
Alicia.
Alicia Espinosa, and I am based in Sweden, and I help. People to create a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good from the outside. And that means aligning the goals that they have, their dreams to their values. And I help leaders and I help women also in different things. Leaders that want to be a leader worth following. That is what I help. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you. And the reason we were laughing is because last week we were having some technical issues with a lot of feedback. So that's why Alicia didn't join us. Anyways, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Whether you're with us live or catching the replay, we're grateful to have you with us. So, my name is Lou Perica. I am a success mindset mentor, speaker, and founder of Prosperous Results. And I work with growth minded women who feel like there's more to them and more for them, whether that's more success, more fulfillment, more alignment in their life, but something isn't fully clicking. And a lot of women that I speak to are doing all the right things on the outside, but they're still not experiencing the results that they desire. And that can leave them feeling frustrated and confused. So, what I help them do is to help them understand what's actually driving their current results and how our thoughts, our feelings, our interpretations, and our patterns are influencing everything. And once they start to see that, things start to shift in a very real and lasting way. And I'm excited about today's chapter in Trust in the Power of Pursuit. And now I will pass it over to my buddy, Paul.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Jamel and Alicia. It's great to be back, enjoying my summer. My name is Paul Wooters. I'm in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. I'm also a success mindset mentor, coached and taught by the legendary Bob Proctor, as Jamal has said. I'm also the head of the Leadership and Development Department at the World Life Education Center and High School in Oakville. And I help individuals create their life by design and with intention, helping people transform their self-image so that the results reflect their true potential. And as I like to say, help people live to their greatest possibilities. Jamel.
Oh, wow. Let's get started. Let's get started. This is going to be an amazing session. Before we get started, I'm going to try something really cool here that I was looking at. I want everyone that's watching live or watching the replay to, feel free to drop comments or questions of anything that we share here. But more importantly, don't be afraid to ask anything. There's no such thing as a dumb question, right? And if you're watching this on YouTube, let's try this. See if it works. Make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. All right. Sorry, Paul, that went right over your face there. Now you can see Paul. But and also most importantly, set up a call with us. The link is in the description or either the comment section or whatever, so that you can apply this knowledge, because this is the pursuit. We're talking about the trust and the power of the pursuit. That's the title of this chapter. And as Lou mentioned, we had some technical difficulties last time, right? And we pursued to be here. The power of pursuit, right? And we're going on almost 2 years of doing Coach's Corner. Where is the applause for that? Can we applause for that? 2 years of Coach's Corner, which is amazing, right? So listen to this. It starts out, you've dreamed many dreams that was yours for the taking. Does anybody here dream about improving your life or achieving certain things or accomplishing things or creating things in your life for you and your family? Does anybody dream anymore? Yes.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. And we're not just talking about dreams when you lay your head to rest and your subconscious mind takes over. We're talking about dreams that you build consciously in your conscious mind. We can pull up the stick figure if you want, but that's where everything starts. Everything's created twice, once in the unseen and then in the seen. So you've dreamed many dreams that was yours for the taking. But guess what happens? It says, in fact, almost all of them were well within your reach. Even now, most of what you dream of can be yours. The simple secret is the seeking, the pursuit. Wow. So I was just talking about this with one of my clients. Don't ever think that you can just dream and wish and hope things will change without taking some type of action. Action actually closes the loop, right? Action is a necessary part of creation. You must act on the material world in order to create material things or physical things. That's why you have a body. We are spiritual beings. We have an intellect and we have a physical body. So we're operating on all three different planes. Where do you think your dream comes from? The spirit realm. It's the unseen. So the dreams is the desire, the seed of basically the seed of desire. It's a spiritual direction to guide you to where you want to go or what you want to create. So if you're not acting upon that dream, guess what you're doing? You're standing still. We either create or we disintegrate. So it's so powerful when I really think about that, because we can dream and hope and wish and never take action. You can watch all our Coach's Corner sessions. You can get motivated, get inspired, but you never talk to one of us. Why? It's because you didn't follow through with that simple step towards the direction you want to go. And a lot of times our fear holds us back. Our limiting beliefs hold us back. And action is so necessary. And we're not talking just any type of action. You can show up every day and lack belief and lack faith. And there's two different sides. There's polarity, the law of polarity, there's abundance and lack, right? So what do you choose? And action is so important, but a lot of people get stuck on it. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this. So I'll stop there and let somebody dive in.
Who wants to take over? I'll hop in. I wanted to, so the next slide, I have this underlined, Jamel, and I'm sure we both seem to have it, the same things underlined. The world behaves differently when you actually make action to go for what you want. What you wish could be starts becoming, and the dream moves in your direction, begins to come to you even as you reach for it. So I was watching this. My husband was watching some show, I think it's called Quarterbacks. And I was watching a little bit, and I didn't pay attention too much to the names of the quarterbacks. But when this line says the world behaves differently when you actually take action to go after what you want, there was a young quarterback and he was raised by a single mom, and he's in the NFL now. But they show a picture, the cameraman goes into his bedroom where he grew up. And there were all kinds of posters and trophies, from when he started off and then into whatever, junior high, high school, college, etc. And right above the door, he had a handwritten sign just on a piece of white paper, "I will play in the NFL." And he said, every time, there was a party or I wanted to stay in bed, and, all those things, I just looked at that sign or that piece of paper every single morning. So when it says that the world behaves differently, when his mom came into the room and she would see all these posters and trophies, but especially when she saw that sign, "I will play in the NFL," she starts to behave differently because she sees her son's dream. She understands that's his dream. So she now does, as a single mom, whatever it is that she can do to introduce him to the right people, the right schools, etc. And then coaches start taking him because they see how serious he is. So this is when we talk about why the resources and the people start to come to you. But he said, every day I looked at that sign as soon as I opened my eyes. And again, so now you would probably know the quarterback, but they always zoom on and zoom in on his mom, and she's always like when he throws a touchdown pass and then whoop whoop whoop. But the whole world, so everyone around him knew that this kid's dream was to play in the NFL. So they did things to encourage him and support him. So I really love that part, that the world behaves differently when you actually take action to go after what you want.
That's very good story. It's amazing. I was thinking about this, about that Jamel asked us if we were dreaming, if we dream. And as we all dream that, one day this. And first is the one day will never come if we don't take action. And another thing that for myself, it was that when I decided that, okay, so I have this dream. In order to that dream turn into reality, I need to wake up. I need to put that as a goal and then start taking action. to that. And for me, it's very important that the goal is alignment with what I want, that what I believe is my values. And so, because otherwise I will not take the actions that inspire me, that give me the motivation. And if you have a little bit of fantasy, motivations is a motive to take action. So if the goals that I have is in alignment with what I value, I will take the actions that will help me move forward to what I want. So I need to turn that, wake up for this dream to be uh, a reality. Otherwise, will not happen. It's like thinking like, oh, I dream to. For example, I am like in the north of Sweden, and if I'm going to take the car to go to Stockholm, for example, well, it doesn't help me to have a dream to go to Stockholm. I need to sit in the car or buy the ticket to the train or the bus, and then start moving to that. Start the car and turn the key, and then start driving. Otherwise, I will never come to Stockholm. So action.
Yeah, I really, this chapter is really, really powerful to me. And it reminds me of something that two things that Bob would always say. And one is that, positive thinking is a half truth. It's a half truth because it's not in harmony with what we're doing. You can think of the idea, and that's good to have that dream, but that's very, but then we don't take action on it. And that's tough. And, the other thing that Bob said was, and he heard it from some minister, I don't know what denomination, he said, pray and move your feet. And I know I've said that before, but it really sticks out of my mind when Bob first said that. It was so funny. But we're talking about the author here is talking about, taking the idea of commitment, that one step further, right? Once you have chosen, a goal and decide to pursue it, then you need to trust. You need to trust that pursuit itself, because the results aren't going to be visible right in the beginning. Just like if you decide to take on a new exercise routine, you start working out, you have a great workout today. Well, you don't see the results tomorrow. You might, but if you're consistent and you believe in the actions that you're taking, you will see the result maybe 6 weeks from now or 8 weeks from now or something like that. So, but there's a real, this act of pursuing your meaningful goal really has power on its own, because when you genuinely commit to something, then your actions, that pursuit, begins to change you. We often have said, it's not the goal, it's the person you become on the way to your goal, because it's now this pursuit is going to bring out your different abilities that you haven't been using. You're going to come up with ideas, you're going to see these resources, and you're going to come into relationships and opportunities that you didn't see before you started. There's another good saying that I like is, take whatever tools you have, whatever resource you have, and start moving forward. And the tools and the resources and the people and the circumstances you need will appear. And that's so true. So you don't have to know everything before you begin. And we've all said that too. Like, if you've been following us, you don't have to know the how. You have to, as Jamel would say, you have to have that belief and that pursuit, those actions that you take, they help reveal what you need to know. Jamel.
Wow, this is so good. My wheels turn every time I hear everyone talk. To follow suit with Paul, what Paul was saying, I have to have a quote. A quote jumps out at me as well. Walk by faith, not by sight. And a key word that stands out in that quote, walk. What does that word mean? It means to take inspired action. You have to walk, you have to move, right? Move your feet, like Paul said, right? You have to move. And when you're walking by faith, you're operating on a different frequency. And you have to know where you're going, where you're walking to, right? And that's your goal. That's the direction that you're headed to. But some people never take that step. It's the start that stops most people, right? It's oh, I'm not ready yet. I need to prepare all these things. I'm not worthy, right? A lot of people think they're not worthy of the income they want, the lifestyle they want, the house they want, or whatever material thing, or intangible reward, right? Time, traveling, or whatever. So you have to take action with inspiration. And I like this part. It says dreams begin to crystallize into reality when they're pursued. So crystallize, it's a very powerful word there. But I don't like the word pursued because it conflicts with my beliefs, what Neville teaches, how everything is already created. And Bob teaches it well. We just haven't matched the frequency of what we desire. And that comes with awareness, right? So you're actually becoming the version of you with the goal already achieved when you're taking action, because the body is an instrument of the mind. So it'll operate on that higher frequency when you already believe that you're already there. So it's kind of tricky because we've learned some negative things that separate us. We think pursue means to I don't have it, right? And he's saying crystallize there. So he's also saying it hasn't formed yet. But it's a little different with Neville's teachings. But the point is, the more you act, you're creating, not just on a spiritual level in your mind, but you're creating on a physical plane. You have to act within this physical plane. He says the dream moves in your direction. That's the action reaction, the law of attraction, right? You know that it's coming to you with faith, with vision, with purpose. That's science of getting rich. That's the certain way. So it's all different ways of saying the same thing, but the dream moves in your direction. It's coming to you as you're going to it, as you take inspired action, right? And it begins to come to you even as you reach for it. It's like shaking your hand. Come here. I want you. This is why you have a desire, right? You have a desire to be more, do more, have more, right? The athletes, they want to jump higher. They want to run faster. Or a race car driver wants to perfect his skill. Golfing, they want to perfect their skill. Golfers, right? Name it. Sports, writers. I want to write a better book. Coaches, consultant. I want to be a better coach. I want to be a better consultant. I want to help people dream again, dream bigger, get out of this rut that holds you back from your greatness. So, and it also says that which you have achieved is what you decided to go for in one way or another. So the key word is decide. Bob always said people don't know how to make a decision. I had to talk to a couple people this week to make a decision that I've been talking to for several months. And off camera, one of us realized, one of our past prospects, decided to go for coaching, decided years later, right? There's some people that take months later, right? That the goal is to decide, right? So think about all the things you achieved in your life. Everything you have in your office, in your home, or whatever, you made a decision to have that thing. So you decided to go for it in one way or another. So like we're all talking about here, you can think positively all day. You can think positively all day, all year, your whole life, but positive action is what really counts. we get so stuck into study and reading without taking actions. And this goes for all different industries. And also for those that may be stuck somewhere working at a job that they're not really happy with, and you have these dreams about creating something outside of that, right? You can think positively, but if you're not taking any step towards it, positive action, you'll remain where you are, wishing and hoping for things to change and crystallize. And it's interesting because your desire, it's screaming at you, it's calling you. It's like, come here, come home. Come on, what are you waiting for? Right? Why are you waiting? Why are you doubting? Why are you doubting yourself? And this is why you want it. You desire it. Actually, on a spiritual level, you know that it's yours. It's reminding you of who you are. And it's interesting that we let our own selves stop us from moving, taking any type of inspired action. We're the only problem and the only solution. And guess what? That's why you're here. That's why we're here, to help walk you to where you are, to where you want to go. That's why we're here and share these beautiful stories. So I'll stop there.
Very cool. You had touched upon so many good things, Jamel, as with Paul and Alicia. But where Price Pritchett talks about wishing, longing, and wanting, these are mental states. So the dream or the desire or the idea, the fantasy, that is, like Jamel said, it's like a spiritual seed. Okay, so we're a triune being, we're spirit, we have an intellect, and we live in a physical body. So that dream, that idea is the spiritual side. The mental side is the wishing, the longing, the wanting, the hoping. Those are mental states. Now comes the physical part. Again, we're triune beings. All three parts are participating in creating. So the physical part is taking action, moving towards. So pursuit is active. Jamel talked about decisions. Think about any time we've made a decision, it invokes action. So it's almost like when we make a decision, there's an unseen force behind that decision that makes us move into action, right? That's it. I'm going to do it. Da 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 da. And the next thing you know, you're making the phone calls. You're taking a class. You've hired a coach or a mentor. You've started networking. You've applied for a different position. All of these things because you made the decision. But what Price Pritchett omits in this particular chapter, and maybe some of the others, I don't know, how vital it is to be emotionally connected. Because without that emotion, excuses come up really easy. And they can sidetrack you very easily. That's why, really, is there action? Absolutely. The decision? Absolutely. But really, behind it all is that deep emotional connection that pulls us through the excuses, pulls us through the hurdles and the obstructions and the naysayers or whatnot, the distractions. Because this is why when you truly love something, when you truly are passionate about something, when you truly have this strong desire to make that spiritual seed, that idea, and bring it into physical form, it takes all three parts of us. Again, spirit, intellect, and physical. So I think understanding that pursuit is just looks different than just the mental state. It is actually taking action. And once we start to take action, sometimes the dream isn't produced right away, but what it starts to do, it puts us in relationship with the dream. The people start coming towards us, the ideas. I had like a little example of what's her name? The Spanx queen, Sarah Blakely. So when she first started, I think Sandy talks about it. She was selling, I don't know, makeup or something, and she used to wear white pants, and it was hot out, and she didn't want to have underwear lines or something like that. Um, but she didn't begin as, fashion industry insider, but that dream pulled her, and the dream the pursuit starts to reveal the path as you go along, because we don't know the how. If we knew all the hows, we would have already achieved it. So these little resources that come up, the synchronicities, the connections, they're like little breadcrumbs. That's how I look at it. They're like breadcrumbs to what it is that we want to experience. But Paul touched upon it. It's not about the getting, even though we think it is about the getting, and the getting is fantastic, but it's who we're becoming. And it sets us up for the next thing because it makes us stronger. It builds our confidence. Watching these quarterbacks when they were interviewing them, I'm not a big, sports fan per se, but I do love listening to their mindset. And that's when I grow to have a deeper respect for athletes and all the different people in the environment and the trading and being let go. And to me, it was like, wow, the mindset that you have to have once you've just been released to a team, right? You've got a family to support, you have a house, et cetera, and you have children. Many of them had children that look up to their dad as this hero, and now he's been traded or let go. But then luckily, this one particular, I think it's Flacco, if I'm not mistaken, he has 5 kids. He was picked up by another team. And he had to learn all those new things from the new team. And I was thinking about the mindset that he had to have to go through all these ups and downs to being released. His kids look up to him. They're his hero. But he had to have the mindset that it still goes on. And because he's experienced losses and wins playing football, it's prepared him for newer challenges as he goes along in life. So I thought I've learned quite a bit watching these little snippets of this show, Quarterbacks, and I highly recommend because the mindset is very inspiring. Alicia.
Yeah, I was. Thank you, Lou, for the inspiration there. Yes, so inspiring the stories. I was thinking about what you say, Jamel, about the word pursuit. It's so difficult to say pursuit. Because I was in the same, I have the same thought that it's like, but then I started to think about chasing, because chasing are coming from the lack that there is not. But for me, it was like, pure pursuit is coming from the beliefs that I have, like, okay, this is what I want, and I'm moving towards that. But in the chasing is that I need to have that in my life. So it was a mind shift in my head to my mindset to accept the perfect world, because I was like, no, it's not, I don't want to pursue anything because it's already that. Yeah, it's already that. But whatever it is there that I want, there is there behind some wall that I create for some reasons. My mindset, my fears, is that, but I need to move towards that in order to get that. But if I'm chasing, then I was chasing in my life before, what is the next title I will have in my, professional life? Which manager should I be? This and that. But I was chasing, and when I came there, then it was like, okay, what is the next target to chase? So and I was never satisfied. It's why it's so important to, if we want to create a life that feels good on the inside, it's like, to go according to the values that we have, and take action all the time. So that was one of the things that the pursuit is not passive, it's more active. You move forward to what I have. And also I want to say about we talked before about the self-image, that I think that it was you, Yamel, also, or it was, I don't know, remember that the self-image that reflect the true potential that you have. And here is that if I'm going to pursue something, it's like, okay, it's not like what you are doing now. It's like, who do I need to be to come to that place? Do I need to? I was you told that, Lou, that people don't take action because they don't know how to. They know. And I was talking to a new client, and we were talking about the leadership. And I said, okay, but what is your dream there to the leader? What is the culture that you want to create for your team? And so on. We were discussing this, and he said that, okay, I don't know how to do that. You don't need to know how. You need to decide what do you want to create. And then we started to say, okay, you put that away, and now who do you need to be in order to create that? Because that people, forget that, okay, who do I need to know? And I asked 3 questions, like, what do you need to start doing? What do you need to continue doing? And what do you need to stop doing? Because sometimes they start to doing, but they don't stop doing. And sometimes we need to stop doing things that are not taking us to the place that we want. And that is the biggest issue, that we don't want to take away anything because we are so afraid that, but if I don't continue to do this, maybe I will not reach whatever I want. So it's like, in order to create something new, you need to let go of something old, and you need to be able to, part of you need to die. I don't mean that the half body, but part of your beliefs that you have is asking yourself, is this belief helping me to come to what I want? Or is that belief taking, control of my behavior and everything, my actions, and so it's it needs some courage to step up and to to reflect what is not taking me where I'm going to want to have, and the courage to let it go. That is yeah, and this is I think that when Bob says that, are you willing to pay the price? And sometimes people think the price is the money. I said, no, this is the less, I know the money is not the biggest issue. The price that you want to are willing to pay is like, I'm willing to let these beliefs go away, create new beliefs. Maybe I need to create new friendships with other people and let the old friendships go. All this is more for people difficult because it's emotional pain. You need to pay emotionally. The money, you will anyway. This money will be away for something else. You will buy a pair of shoes or a car or something like that. It's not, but this the biggest issue is paying the price, emotional price. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that deserves an applause. That there's so much there that Alicia said. Right? You're challenging your beliefs, right? We're going to operate based on our old beliefs and our old belief patterns, and then there's that fear, right? Fear of the unknown. And sometimes there was a chapter earlier in this book, rely on the unseen forces, because really when we don't see progress immediately visible, you don't see immediate results, it's easy to question the goal. Oh, maybe this isn't going to work. But we have to really stay engaged long enough for the possibility to start to emerge, right? And the things aren't going to necessarily unfold in a straight line. We don't know the how, and you just have to trust in that. But the other thing was that Alicia mentioned was, you don't have the courage and you have these beliefs, and but you have to challenge, your beliefs. You have to challenge the idea of certainty. You don't need to know the how. You don't need to know exactly how you're going to succeed. You don't need to know every step you're going to take. You don't need to know every resource that you will need or exactly when the result will appear. Bob has that great story of John Kennedy back in 1961 going to Wernher von Braun, who was the head of NASA, and said, what will it take to send a man to the moon? And he didn't say, well, it's going to take this much resources, this much money, this much, he just said the will to do it. That's it. You just need enough conviction to take that next step. And then when you take that next step, the following step is going to reveal itself. And the real thing about when you are, pursuing this dream of yours, is that it isn't just the goal that's being created. You actually are being created as well, because it's going to, when you start taking this action, you start moving, you're going to get courage, right? You're going to, you don't wait until you have courage. You take the action, right? And you do it with persistence, and you're going to build. That's what builds you confidence. You don't wait until you're confident. You take the action, and that is going to give you the confidence. And then you will see your resourcefulness will come, to the surface. Your abilities will come to the surface. You'll be greater aware of the opportunities that you're surrounded by. So even before that external goal is achieved, something really powerful and significant is already happening internally inside you, right? And that that's so, rather than saying I'll be confident when I succeed, you can say, this pursuit is going to be part of a huge transformation that's really going to change you, and that's the real beauty of it. It isn't just, you know, achieving this goal, because you yourself are going to become a different person on your way to the goal, and that is such a beautiful thing. Jamel.
I gotta give applause all around here, you know, because that is so important, right? It's Bob always said the getting of the goal, that's the byproduct of it, right? Whatever it is that you desire to achieve, it's just the byproduct. It's who you're becoming in the process is the real gift. And exactly what Paul's mentioning here, and all of us in a way, we're changing. We're growing into that version of us that has achieved the goal. And this is why we desire things, we want things. Spirit is always for fuller expression and expansion. It wants to experience itself with and through you. So it's not an accident you desire these things or you want something to change in your life. It's like something that was given to you, uniquely to you, at this particular moment in the cosmic world of time, for you to grow, for you to experience yourself. And it's funny because I'm surrounded by so much knowledge, but I wanted to read something from one of our lessons. It says, increase is what all men and women are seeking. It is the urge of our spiritual essence within to find fuller expression. As Wallace Wattles says, and I'll quote here, the desire for increase is inherent in all nature. Listen to that one part. The desire for increase is inherent in all nature, including you. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching this. That's why you're listening to us, right? So it is the fundamental impulse of the universe. All human activities are based on the desire for increase. People are always seeking more food. Oh, I love food. Don't get me started at that. More clothes. I wore my nice shirt today. I haven't wore this on camera yet. So, you know, better shelter, right? More luxury, more beauty, more knowledge, more pleasure, more life. That's a big one, right? Every living thing is under the necessity for continuous advancement. That is why you're here. Continuous advancement. That's why you have a dream, a goal. This is why we're talking about the pursuit of that, right? So where increase of life ceases, where it stops, right? Dissolution and death set in at once. People instinctively know this. You know this by instinct. And hence, they are forever seeking more. So the seeking part of it, this is why you have a goal. This is why you want more in your life. This is why you desire more. And, you know, to quote another one, this spoke to me because, Lou, you're mentioning something. This is, I won't say what it is, but they'll know as soon as I start reading. It says, any resolution or decision you make is simply a promise to yourself that isn't worth a tinker's damn until you have formed the habit of making it and keeping it. Mm-hmm. You won't form the habit of making it and keeping it unless right at the start you link it with a definite purpose that you can be accomplished by, that can be accomplished by keeping it. So essentially you have to link it with a purpose and make a decision, right? A lot of people do not decide. And this is so important in that so-called pursuit of this dream. You're not actually pursuing it, you're becoming it. And, you know, Price Pritchard mentions here, reaching for your dream is behaving and moving. Listen to those key words. What is your behavior? Right? People say, I believe I can succeed, but their behavior is in complete contradiction to it. Mm-hmm. It's because of that past self is so strong. It wants to keep you in your comfort zone. It wants to keep you normal in this comfortable seat or, you know, that comfortable chair that you've been sitting in, right? So when you reach for your dream, it shortens the distance between you and your desired objective. So you're shortening it by becoming, by acting in that frequency, in that energy, and with faith, knowing it's coming to you or it's already here, if your awareness can allow that, right? And he mentions most people confuse wishing and wanting with pursuing. I laugh because that was me, right? I would visualize, I pretend, oh man. I remember back in, wow, it was like early 2000 or late 90s. I was in college and I used to see this Lexus drive around. I love that car. And I would wish and hope I would drive it one day. And as the years go by, I look at it and I laugh because you don't see them on the road anymore, right? And I wasn't definitely pursuing to that. I was trying to graduate. So the point is, you don't want to confuse the two, right? You want to, pursuing is the actual inspired action. You want to have money-making activities or goal-oriented activities, right? Rather than these low-frequency activities of filling your mind, with negative things, negative social media, negative news, negative Nancy's and sour Steves. Just listening to people that are stuck in their life and they're not moving anywhere. Why would you ask for advice for someone that can't see your vision, what you visualize and dream about? And he says, when that desire fails to produce, people conclude the dream cannot be theirs. You're only a failure when you quit, right? Only when you stop. And he says the only proof they have is that the longing is not enough. Desire alone cannot deliver, right? That's the only proof is that the longing is not enough. Desire and wishing and wanting is not enough. Desire alone cannot deliver. So basically, you have to complete that loop with action, inspired action, not forced action. And inspired action is basically operating from the wish fulfilled, knowing that it's already there or that it's coming to you, and letting go all doubt and worry. So I'll stop there. It was a lot I shared because I'm surrounded by all this knowledge. I had to tap in.
That was great. No, I love that you mentioned at the beginning byproduct. I was writing this down. So what is money is a byproduct, right? The goal achieved is the byproduct, which is also, we call it results, the effect, the outcomes. So what it is actually the dream now manifested into the 3D world. It's already gone through the 5D and the 4D, and it's now into the 3D, which is the law of cause and effect. So everything that we're talking about is the creative process. This is how things get created. This is how things go from a non-physical to a physical. It's the same process. And when I tell people that, it's the exact same process. I don't care who you're talking about, when they were born, what they achieved, what they didn't achieve, et cetera, et cetera. It's always the same process because it's law. We're talking about laws. And we had Coach's Corner, we discussed the universal laws. But I like with Alicia, when you are asking your client, what do you want? What type of culture do you want to create? And then once that person said, I want to do this, this, and this, then your next question was, who do you need to be in order to create this type of environment or culture? So this is like we heard the word how. The how is none of our business. The when, the how, the where is none of our business. And I had a discussion with another coach one day where she thought the emphasis was on the why. We've all heard this. What is your big why? Why? And I said, but before you have the why, you have to know the what. What do you want? What do you want to experience? What do you want to create? How do you want to grow? What do you want to contribute to society or to your family or to yourself? So I think it's the what comes first. What do you want? The who. Who do you need to be? Or the why? I mean, I guess you could say the why, because the why is the emotional connection. And really, the emotional connection for the most part is I want to do it because I want to help my family. I want to see my kids do this. I want to experience what it's like to live in a different part of the world, or not worry about money, or not worry about this or that. I want to experience that freedom, right? So that why connects you to the what. And then you decide, who do you need to be, because that version of you, that different version of you, will show up differently because you're now emotionally connected to that what. And that what and the emotion is different from the version of you that you've been for however long, for decades, or maybe depending on your last goal. Because with each goal, we show up differently because, like Paul was saying, we're learning different things about ourselves. We're growing more confident. We're having more courage. We're becoming more consistent. So all of these attributes help us moving forward. But I think the first thing is the what, the why, and then the who. And the other questions, the how, the when, the where, that's the universe's job. Alicia.
I was thinking when you said about the universe law, and it made me think about a client before she was a client to me. She contacted me because of the law of attraction. And she told me about the secret that she had been reading, the secret, because I have some event where we talk about the secret and the law of attraction. And she said, but I have been reading the secret many years, and nothing happened. So yeah, well, the law of attraction, if you listen to what the word say, attract action. You need to take action to attract something. So please stop reading and start doing. Because it's like you will not sit there in a couch and just dream that I want this, I want this. You need to go out and do the thing. That is what I wanted to tell, because I think that is a misconception about the secret, that you just sit down and and dream, and everything will come. No, we need to take action. So, and it's start with, as you say, Lou, what do I want? What do I want to create in my life? For me, it was like, what life do I want to create?
Mm-hmm.
And then, who do I want to be? Or who do I need to be to come there? Or it's not, one also think that is also a misconception when we work with our personal development, is that people say, but I don't want to be anybody else. I want to be myself. Yeah, you are yourself, but by working with yourself and be curious, who are you beside your name, or your body? Who are you? All these beliefs that you have, they are not your beliefs from from the beginning. If maybe you have those beliefs from somebody else, and you need to start to thinking who I am. You need to start individualizing yourself from differentiating and individualizing yourself from all the old beliefs that you have. And this is what happens when you start to be curious about yourself. maybe what is the, I have fear about this. What make me have that fear? And what are the beliefs that I need to have in order to have that fear?
Mhm.
And do I want to have those beliefs? They are not serving me. Okay, so what I want is that. So, yeah.
That that is so good, and it opens up a whole new discussion, really, almost, right? But I love what a couple of things that Alicia said, and when she said she was talking to someone, or someone might say, but I want to be me. But you want to be a better version of yourself, right? You want to be your best version.
Yeah.
And so, the thing is also about, taking action. It's so important, right? You can't, discover the path or the way there by standing still and just analyzing it. You discover it by moving. You can't discover it from the sidelines. I coach kids, springboard diving, and some kids are just so afraid. They're going to smack. They're going to smack on their face. They're going to smack on their back. Something. They're going to try something they see someone else doing. They don't feel ready. They don't feel they have the confidence. And I can say to them, well, you can sit right here on the side of the pool, and I guarantee you won't smack. You won't hurt yourself. But I can also guarantee you won't develop any further. You won't realize what you were actually what's possible for you. And so you have to really trust in this process of going after or pursuing, this worthy goal, this that taking that action itself will reveal the resources, the opportunities, and the capabilities that you can't see beforehand. So it's just not going to automatically happen simply because you want it, but you'll have to recognize, a real commitment to it. And, ask yourself what might be possible if you stop demanding proof that your goal was achievable, and instead, committed to fully going after it. I'm going to end there because we're going a little bit over time. So kind of back to Jamel.
This is so amazing. We can do another hour, right? Yeah, when everyone's talking about who am I, like, ask yourself, who are you? Right? You're not your name. Bob said, I'm not my hand, I'm not my body. Who am I? We're creators, put here to create what we want in our lives. And you can define who you are by reevaluating who you believe yourself to be, right? And also shifting your self-image, your inner self-image will match whatever it is that you desire. And we're talking about goals, and I'm sitting in a goal here. It was a goal to have my own office, our own home. This is a dream. This house was brand new. It was just dirt and trees here. I had amazing vision, and I kept visualizing a home, and I always wanted a piece of land, the American dream, to have your own home and land. And it kept speaking to me. And guess what? I had to take an action towards it. I never had property. I didn't even know the process of buying a home. I didn't even Google it. I didn't even know what I was doing. Then I found out about, percentages you have to put down and how much it costs. Oh, that's a whole nother thing, right? So, and that was another obstacle that was trying to hold me back from this dream. So I remember I kept looking at home builders and going through their websites. And then I found that image I had in my mind. And it was beautiful, but it wasn't built yet. It wasn't in the material world yet. And it's funny because that design was in someone else's mind. They designed it with their imagination, with their dream. So their dream and my dream connected, actually. And I'm sitting right here in a physical dream. So what we're all saying is you must move on that dream. You have to take action to it. And I was very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. you know. And this means you must leave that cover, right? The safety that goes with merely wishing for something. You must place your trust in action. And I knew every step, every day, I was like, okay, this is what I need the money that I need. This is my plan. And I'm going to keep taking a step forward every day. I kept making a decision. This is happening. And, you know, all the pieces came together because I moved on the dream. And look around you. As everyone was talking, a big thing came to me. Look around you. You're surrounded by dreams. You're surrounded by people's visions. You're surrounded, and all these things a lot of things we take for granted was because someone believed in that dream. No one else has to believe in the dream that you have for you, but you. It was given to you. So you don't even have to share it to anybody, right? This is your dream for your growth. This is your journey. And it starts with moving on it. And doing it by yourself is extremely challenging, you know. Thank you, Marion. Thanks for joining us. This is a power pack. A must rematch. Thank you all. Yeah.
Rewatch, I think.
Rewatch, yeah. The energy's flowing so fast, you know, for her.
Typing too fast.
Yeah, rewatch this, right? Because it'll wake you up. You need a conscious interruption of all the noise that we receive all day, every day. This is your conscious interruption. We're not just here by accident. You're not here by accident. You don't have your dream by accident. It's divine order, divine timing. What do you do with it? Do you contact one of us? Oh, how do we do that? It's in the description. Tap on one of those links, set up a call with us. Let's see if we can help you with your dream, helping you, guide you with taking that first little step. We're all, as you can tell, we're human beings and we want the best for you. But doing it alone, it could take a lifetime, especially if you don't know what you're doing on different levels, right? And accountability and application, because you know, it's hard to hold yourself, apply this knowledge and hold yourself accountable by yourself with your own past thinking. Because I know I tried to do that. I had to change environments. I had to change my beliefs. So anyway, this has been an awesome Coach's Corner, and you know the power of taking action and pursuing.
I want to share an affirmation that I normally have.
Please.
And I completed that, or you know, with taking action, because it was missing. And then when I say, okay, I need to take action, and it's be in love with your goals, take action, divorce the results, marry the process, and don't cheat with your fears.
Wow. Can you say it again, Alicia?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Be in love with your goals, take action, divorce the results, marry the process, and don't cheat with your fears.
Wow.
That is what I like. Okay, you know, I put everything all the time.
That is so good.
Very cool.
Thank you all for joining us. You know,
Thank
reach out to
you.
us. You know, we're here to help. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.